Up, War Room family? You are once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on that War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm Devin McMillan. I'm at the round table with my good brothers Jimmy the Blueprint and B. Austin. The NFL draft is here, so Fred Perdue will join us in a few minutes. In hour number 2, he'll join us for a few minutes in hour number 2 for some live pre-draft coverage. The injury bug has hit the NBA playoffs. In about 30 minutes, we'll be talking to Coach Jamal Slayton of the Charlotte Elite in the Tobacco Road Basketball League. So keep it locked right here. And if you want to holler at us throughout the show, join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, or join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly after our interview with the coach when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech hotline. That number is 323-410-0012. But when we're not on the air, please remember to take some time out of your week to listen to the great shows on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. Check out top-notch shows such as the Broad Street Line with Roy and Chris, the Tissue and the Tape Hip-Hop Show with Phil Savard and the crew, No Look Past Podcast with Frank and Andy, the Mad Scientist Sports Lab with Nick and Andrew, John Appetit with the Burtons, and a whole lot more. Just visit warroomsports.com, click on the WRS Podcast Network tab, or listen on the War Room Sports mobile app or on iTunes. Fellas, what up? I got a quick question. Jimmy, I see you there. I got a quick question for you.
Yo.
You think you're expecting a super ugly type response from Jay-Z directed at his wife?
Man, nah. That was all set up, man. That's the okie doke, man. That's the okie doke.
Yeah, I heard a whole lot of stuff about that. Of course, their plan is to capitalize off everything that's going on. But I don't know, I hear rumors that the problems were real, but Jay, gave his blessing like, hey, let's be transparent, let's make some money off of it. But whatever, who cares?
Yeah, I heard that statement. I heard that statement too, but I don't believe nothing I hear anyway. But, at the end of the day, I just know the song with Kendrick is fire. I don't care if they break up tomorrow. Like, that's on them. But that song with Kendrick is fire. Shout to Just Blaze.
No doubt. Yeah, we of course, we're having some technical difficulties on draft night. I'm not really sure if our whole theme song played or not. I guess the people in the chat room, the people on Facebook and Twitter can tell us. They can let us know what they heard at the intro. Either way, we're here now. And we're still going to have a great show, whether the boards are messing up or not, because that's what we do. So let's just jump in and get started, man. Let's talk about what happened this week while everybody out there was on that good grind.
Let's go.
All right, and while y'all are on the grind, is brought to you, of course, by DirecTV. If you like a better TV experience than cable has to offer, including that NFL Sunday ticket, go to our website, warroomsports.com, click on the DirecTV logo, order yourself a better TV experience at a discounted War Room Sports sign-up rate. If you call yourself a sports fan, then you gotta have DirecTV. All right, man, it's been some more, I don't want to call it information, but, some quote-unquote witness testimony going on in the Will Smith murder case. The latest that I heard that, because remember they said they found a gun in Will Smith's car, but they weren't sure if it had anything to do with the altercation, if it was used or not. One eyewitness is saying that Will Smith's gun indeed was used and he shot first. So now the lawyer for the defendant is basically out there trying to claim self-defense in Will Smith's murder. I've even heard them go as far as to say Will Smith's former NOPD friend that he was eating with that night was the one who put the gun back in the car, basically trying to cover it up. Have you been reading up on this, man? What's going on in this case?
Yeah, actually, the most recent news is dude just got charged with second-degree murder. So they charged him.
Yeah, he did get indicted today.
So he got charged with second degree. The more and more information comes out, the more this story changes. And I always say that's why you gotta let the facts come out, but we ain't got time for that, man. We got these memes to get off. So, but the more facts that come out, the crazier this story sounds. I mean, it sounds like Will Smith hit dude's car and kept going. Dude chased him down. You know what I'm saying? And they got out of the car, and Will Smith told Boy that he had a gun, and Boy was like, I got a gun too. Will Smith walked to his car, and Boy let him have it, which is how he got shot in the back.
Right.
And that's why he tried to claim self-defense. Like, you going to tell me you got a gun and then start walking to your car, what I'm supposed to do? I got to let this ooh-ah fly. So it's just a crazy story, man, because the first thing is, if you hit him and kept going from that point on, man, like, you know, you go. But then, on the flip side, you chase him down, you're in the wrong too, because you could have just called. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot.
Right.
It's a terrible story all around. It's a terrible story, but it's definitely not what I thought it was when I first heard the story.
So it's one of those things where, you know, when the proceedings begin, they're definitely gonna try to chop down Will Smith's character, you know, being dead. They might try to blame the whole altercation on him, you know, whether it was him or not. But because of the things that you just said, it's going to still make it a little harder for the defendant, even if what they're saying is true, because certain things didn't have to happen to escalate the situation. So he's still going to be charged with, you know, he's still going to be on the hook for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's probably why right now they're going for second-degree murder instead of first-degree murder.
True.
Because
that's true too.
There may be some elements of self-defense in here, may be some elements of an altercation where both parties were involved. But
second degree
I think it's very hard. It's going to be hard for them to get him, you know, away from doing some time, even if it's not the long ride.
I guess they're going to try to charge him with second, and hopefully, like in their eyes, hopefully he'll settle for manslaughter, so they can say they, you know, put him behind bars, and then he's going to do, like, you know what I'm saying, 18 months and get out a better criminal. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so so that just everything going on, man. More developments in that case every second. Man, I think we got another one here, man. Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas. He's been talking. He says he cannot control his mood swings. He said on a recent visit to the doctor told him that his brain looked similar to someone who had fallen off the top of a house onto the front of his head, or someone who went through a windshield of a car several times. Yo, how would you feel to get that kind of, you know, information from a doctor visit?
Yo, that's crazy, man. It's sad because we're getting to the point where the guys that we grew up watching are the ones suffering. It's been happening for a long time, but back in the day, the guys that came forward with these kind of things, like, you know, we felt some sympathy for them, but it wasn't the same because we didn't grow up watching them. Like, we grew up watching Thurman Thomas, who's probably one of the more underrated running backs in the history of the game.
Right. Somebody whose name doesn't come up enough when it should.
Yeah. So it's like to see these guys go like this, I mean, but that's the sport they play, and the information is out there, and I guess that's why you see guys now, like, leaving the league at 29, like, yo, I'm out of here. But that's just brutal, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, through a windshield several times. But you think about it, you play, you know, 12, 13 years in the league. Isn't that essentially what you're doing now?
Yeah,
like they say, it's like a car crash on every play. And when you're a running back, especially in his time, when running backs were really, really prevalent, that's what you're doing. I mean, you're having car crashes every single time you get the ball. It's crazy. So I think we're going to have another one, man.
I'm just waiting for, like, Emmett or somebody of that stature that's that popular. It's going to happen.
Yeah. You know, Emmett, you know, he ain't take too well. Everybody took hits, but Emmett, he didn't get touched much up front in his in the Cowboys' glory days. That is, you know, when he first got to the league, it wasn't sweet. But
he caught CT eat him a couple years with the Cardinals.
He might have caught it from his former teammate, Roy Williams. Remember, he hit the dude Emmett went into the press conference like reevaluating his whole life.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yo, that was scary for me. Like somebody hit you that hard that you go into the press conference and you're talking about you're reflecting on your kids and all that. He wasn't saying I'm retiring, but he was like, it was weird. He might have knocked a little something loose that game.
Yo.
He wasn't used to being on that side of that. Probably wasn't allowed to hit him in practice.
Yo, shout out to Roy Williams, you know, for your yam farming with Kelly Rowland. So That's all I remember you for. That and the Emmett hit.
Yeah, other than that, you had a spark when you started, but you know the rest of that. All right, Marshawn Lynch. I'm going to tell y'all something positive about Marshawn Lynch because everybody else, throughout the end of his career, they wanted to tell you everything negative about Marshawn Lynch. But Marshawn Lynch, so far in his retirement, he's been spending time in Haiti helping to build a school. So, you've seen these photos of Marshawn, and he's never been that type of dude where he's trying to, overly publicize anything that he's doing for charity. And don't get it twisted, Marshawn Lynch does a whole hell of a lot for charity. But he's over there in Haiti helping out his former teammate, Cliff Averill, and the Cliff Averill Foundation. They're building a school in Haiti, and they're also hosting a mobile medical clinic and a football camp. So that's definitely good stuff for Marshawn Lynch going on over there, because you don't really hear too much positive about the brother when it comes to the national media.
And he's very philanthropic for one. For two, he's just a real dude, man. And he doesn't look for the attention. He seems to be enjoying retirement. I've seen photos of him like all over the place. Like he seems to be really retired.
Yeah.
People speculating that he ain't retired.
Yeah, because it don't seem like there's much workout going on.
No,
I guess building a crib. building, schools and houses probably.
Yeah, but shout out to him for that, man.
A good workout, but not the type of workout that he needs to do what he used to do.
Yeah, we don't need you to come back and end up like Thurman, man. So stay doing what you're doing, man. So salute to Marshawn Lynch, man, because you don't get enough credit for that because he's always been very philanthropic, and it doesn't seem to be phony.
Right. All right, man. This next story, man, like being from Philadelphia, it's kind of embarrassing for me to even bring this up on a national radio show. But what's wrong with your city, man? There was a story run. I don't know if they broke it, but I caught it from the Big Lead. Shout out to the Big Lead because we were just with a couple of guys from the Big Lead yesterday in Chicago at Blocksville Ball 7 and, doing some pre-NFL draft stuff. So shout out to those guys, but they broke a story yesterday saying that Steph Curry's face has been found, and they show photos of this because the chief of the SEPTA Transit Police in Philadelphia tweeted out an image showing Steph Curry's face inside little tiny baggies of heroin. So some drug dealer in Philadelphia has decided to use Steph Curry as the face of his heroin product. So I guess the pun must be, shoot up like Steph. I don't know what it is, but yo, what's the meaning of this, man? They're using my man's image in heroin. Like,
Steph, you officially made it, man, because this isn't a new phenomenon. They've had Jordan before. You know what I'm saying? Magic. You officially made it now. Once you make it to be on the back,
Blue Magic.
You're official, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're up there with the likes of they say WMD and Bin Laden and all those people. They literally take their faces and put it on the bags. It's all about branding, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the brand, baby. But it's a sad story, but it's also somewhat funny, man. Yo, shout out to all my dope fiends I be seeing 5 in the morning when I'm on my way to the gym, man. Out there looking like the Walking Dead. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all still good people. But specifically never mind. But yo, this story is kind of crazy. The pictures were funny. But Steph has officially made it. Steph is a superstar.
Yeah, he's definitely a superstar, and it transcends basketball in that arena. He's a hood star now, and he's not even a hood dude, but he got his own heroin line. His own shoe line with Under Armour. Got his own heroin line with Nino in them.
The one thing about the hood, man, if you can run ball, you get respect.
Yeah. Yep. Either you're slinging crack rock or you got a wicked jump shot.
True
but no,
story.
I mean we've seen that. We've seen that growing up. The neighborhood basketball star. Those are the dudes that the drug dealers protect. They want to see them make it one day. And for real, a lot of people think those type of favors was all about, those dudes getting something in return when the dude make it. But I've never really seen it that way. I never really looked at it that way. It just, they, even though they do what they do, it seems like they genuinely, wanted to see people get out of that environment if you had a chance to get out of that environment. So they, so you would protect the young basketball or football star, something like that.
Shout out to John Thompson Sr. He used to literally step to the kingpins like, yo, leave my players alone.
Yeah.
He's about that.
Crazy. Right? Yeah, he definitely is. Yeah, a little crazy. A little brave.
He stepped to real life shooters like, no, I don't care. Like, in Alonzo Mourning, you know what I'm saying? Stay away from him.
It worked. I mean, they respect that kind of stuff. Some of them. A lot of them. Not going to say most of them, but, yeah, so, Steph, shout out to you, man. Not really a good thing, but.
Get well soon, Steph.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, Jim, so that's what happened this week while everybody was on the grind. Let's tell everybody who's having a birthday today.
Absolutely. And the birthdays are brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom websites, here's who you have to call. Digital Extreme Technologies. And guess what? Because you're going through us, War Room Sports, you can put something on it. Put it on layaway and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like the old Kmarts. Financing options are available. You visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. That's 267-205-4203. And don't forget, tell them that War Room Sports sent you to get the hookup.
You know what, though, Jim? Like we tell everybody about Digital Extreme Technologies, their low prices, their financing options every week. Yeah. But it's still, we still go out here and we see people with these template, these little WordPress sites and all this. They just don't want to listen. So look, man.
I ain't going to say it. No more.
No more. We ain't going to say it. No more.
Yo, and shout out to all y'all with them corny-ass Wix sites. Like, come on with that, man. Step your game up, man. Yo, man, if you over 30 and you got a Wix site, you didn't have a male role model. All right, now, the birthdays, first birthday. Turning 36 is one Josh Howard.
Wow. Yay! Yo, you know what's ironic about Josh Howard having a birthday today? Our upcoming guest in a few minutes, Coach Jamal Slayton, just signed Josh Howard to his team down in Charlotte, the Charlotte Elite. So we'll ask him about that when we get him on the line. So happy birthday to Josh Howard. and shout out to the Charlotte Elite for getting them to sign with him.
Shout out to them. Yo, next, turning 41 is one James Thrash, part of the amazing duo of Thrash and Pinkston.
Pinkston and Trash.
As we used to call
Pinkston
them,
and Trash.
We called them Trash and Stinkston.
Mm-hmm. Yo, I'm not one to defend Trash and Stinkston, but the crazy part is, like, those dudes they weren't great receivers by any measure, but those dudes got such a bad rep. Wow, the dude who was throwing them ground balls that they had to die for all the time came off looking like the superstar. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Because the fact that they weren't that good, it just emphasizes the fact that I've actually seen those dudes make some amazing catches on bad balls that they will never, ever, ever in life get credit for. Because all we ever emphasize, or all everybody ever emphasizes, how bad they were.
Grossly underrated. Grossly underrated.
Isn't it amazing?
I ain't gonna say all that. I ain't gonna call them grossly underrated.
How you bring up
you gotta consider them as underrated as the guy throwing them the ball is overrated.
Nah, I don't think so. I still think he was more overrated than they were underrated. They did stink and were trash, but
damn. Yo,
Pinkston. The crazy thing about Stinkston though is he could actually get deep. He was just, after he took a couple hits, he was a little cowardly.
What he gonna do when the ball get there is something else. He can get deep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's my man from the Panthers? They can get open on every play, but he may have made one catch.
Teddy Ginn.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, he could even catch, but once he took a couple of hits, it was whether or not he wanted to catch the ball once he got deep. Like, Ted Ginn doesn't have a choice. It's 50-50. He's going to be wide open. It's going to be 50-50 whether or not he catches the ball.
Yo.
Stingston just decided to not catch the ball if anybody got too close to his vicinity.
Yeah, he started feeling like he, fell out of a building or been in a car crash.
Yeah, and he did weigh he was like 6'3", 125 pounds. So
shout out to my man Deshaun Jackson, who ain't been the same since that Falcons game. He don't want to go over the middle no more either.
My man Donta tried to take his life.
Donta threw him through a windshield head first.
Yo, it's funny because it was like a cartoon, that play when Deshaun got hit by Donta. Like, I saw his spirit leave his body. I had to pull it back in. I hit rewind on DirecTV, which you can get at WarRoomSports.com. I hit rewind on it and watched it again. His spirit just left his body. Anyway, next birthday, turning 48, is one Mark Carrier. Shout out to Mark Carrier.
He was a good safety in his day.
Yeah, he was.
He hit you real
wasn't
hard.
Great. A lot of people probably like, who the hell is Mark Carrier?
He was all right. He's all right. He ain't John Blaze. But anyway, next one, turning 49, is Pete Stoyanovich. Any Pete Stoyanovich fans in the house? No? Cool. All right, turning 50 is one John Daly. Shout out to John Daly, turning the big 5-0.
Shout out to alcohol. Oh, that was me.
Damn, cuz. My man got an addiction, man. Damn.
That was me, man.
Yo, turning 52. One of the great baseball players of our time is one Barry Larkin, turning 52.
Larkin, keep on sparking.
And those are the birthdays this week. Salute to everyone and happy birthday on your birthday or birthday week.
No diggity.
No doubt. All right, so probably in about 5 minutes, we're gonna have our guest on, Coach Jamal Slayton from the Charlotte Elite down in the Tobacco Road Basketball League. We're gonna talk about everything they're doing down there, what's in the immediate future, and what those guys are trying to get done with their program and with their league. But right now, before we jump into some hot topics and we jump to the phone line with our guests, I'm going to let you guys know how y'all can get in touch with us. Y'all should know this by now, especially if you've been listening for 305 episodes. Challenging y'all to listen to the next 305. Check out the website, WarRoomSports.com. While you're there, take your time, look around, click on the Contact Us tab to send a message about the company, the show, or to inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, or joining the network in any capacity. For general inquiries, email us, info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, click on the memorabilia tab, buy War Room Sports merchandise, click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All Fair and Sports and More blog. Then click the respective icons and tabs to like our Facebook page, to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our iTunes podcast, to watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV, to listen to the WRS Podcast Network that we talk about all throughout the show, and to download our free, yes, it is free, our free War Room Sports mobile app to get everything I just mentioned on the go, and that is Android or iOS. Join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't want to create an account, you don't have to. You can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts because we know you have those. And while you're at it, click follow to get updates and reminders about the show. We'll be taking questions, reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, and the chat room during the show. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline will be open after our talk with Coach Slayton. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. As a matter of fact, Jim, if we have anybody on the Digital Extreme Technologies hotline, now, we probably got about 3 minutes or so before we get our guests on. So if anybody's holding the line now,
Yeah, we're going to get right to you, caller.
Yeah, a quick one. But for now, we're going to talk some hot topics until we get the coach on. And hot topics, of course.
The coach is actually here. The coach is actually here.
Oh, okay. So we'll get him on right after Jimmy tells everybody who his segment is sponsored by this evening.
Absolutely. The hot topics are brought to you by Audible. If your schedule is too hectic to read as much as you want, try audiobooks and kick back and let someone else do the reading for you. Here's what you do. You visit audibletrial.com/warroomsports. You can get yourself a free audiobook. I love Audible. I'm currently listening to the Gary Vaynerchuk book as well as Black Presidency by Michael Eric Dyson. I know y'all be dissing Michael Eric Dyson when I tell y'all I'm reading his books, but the book is pretty good so far. So that's what I'm listening to on Audible. But you can get a free Audible book by going to audibletrial.com/warroomsports, and that's what we'll take care of you that way. And we want to thank Audible for the support of this podcast. Let's go.
All right, no doubt. You guys heard us talk about it in the open, even though we were having some technical difficulties. I'm sure you still heard it, and we talked about it a few minutes ago. We even talked about it during the birthday segment when we talked about Josh Howard. We have on the line with us the head coach, team president, and owner of the Charlotte Elite in the Tobacco Road Basketball League down in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's a native of Philadelphia, but we'll talk about that with him. We'll let him tell you everything he has going on and his background in the game. Coach Jamal Slayton, welcome to the War Room. What's going on, bro?
Hey, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Man, glad to have you in the building.
Thank you for coming on and giving us a few minutes of your time, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Dev, I just want to get right to it. Coach Slayton, I've been working out. My jumper is Def Light. Got a roster spot for a 6-foot small forward shooting guard. I don't want the pressure of bringing the ball up. Not that I don't got a handle, but I just want a gun. I just want to get 50 shots a game up. So, I just wanted to throw that out.
Email me your player profile to
no doubt.
Elite1@gmail.
No doubt. B. Austin, yeah. Y'all
heard
it.
Profile going to say, shoot. That's what his scout report going to say. Shoot.
Coach, I used to play D, and I can give you about 3 minutes of good D, tough D,
at
some point in the game. But I'm 36 now, so I can't do it.
Okay.
I could shoot. For some reason, I get that energy when the ball's in my hand. It's time to. But defensively, I see them young boys coming, and I just be like, all right, well, let me hack him on the low so the ref don't see it. And
that's old school.
Funnel them to my help.
Listen, no blood, no foul. No blood, no foul. I'm old school.
No doubt.
Too.
They don't know nothing about that these days. Hey, but Coach, look, tell us a little bit about the Charlotte Elite program and the Tobacco Road Basketball League. What you guys got going on down there?
I guess briefly or quickly, we're a second-year program. And the TRBL, Tobacco Road Basketball League, they've been around. This is their 5th season, which I don't know if you follow minor league sports, but that's in minor league sports. Because you see leagues come and go, and this one, that's actually the reason why I decided to join it. Again, this is my 2nd season, so they were going to their 4th season when I got the invitation from the commissioner at the time, and that just showed a lot of stability to me. And I guess the reason he reached out to me because he had heard about our team. Prior to that, we'd just been doing traveling tournaments all up and down the East Coast. They have 5K tournaments, 10K, 25K from Rochester, New York, all the way down to Boca Raton, Florida. We travel. And we had done really well. 2014 was a really, really good year for us. Things were just coming together. I mean, we started off just, basic rec league stuff. I was in the twilight of my playing career, so I kind of took a back seat, and I met some young guns, man, and they could really go. And it just started coming together, and 2014 was a really good year, and a guy by the name of Mark Janis, entrepreneur out of the Raleigh-Durham area, he reached out to me, And he said, "Hey, I heard a lot of good things about your team." Our name was actually Carolina Elite at the time.
Okay.
And he said, "I heard a lot of good things about you guys, man, and I think you would be a perfect fit for our league. We're looking for a Charlotte affiliate, and I'd like for you to submit an application." And
cool.
I guess that was basically it. I submitted it, and unanimously they voted us in, and I've been running around like a chick with my head cut off ever since.
Man.
Now, in that first year, which was last year, of course, didn't you guys set like a record in the league?
Yeah, man. We shocked the world. We still left one stone unturned, but we set the record for wins in the season, which was 16. And we also won the Western Conference Championship. We hosted Charlotte's first ever minor league playoff game, and we also hosted the championship game, which was a first in Charlotte as well, which we lost. We lost the championship game. We won the Western Conference, and we lost the championship game, both in Charlotte. So it was a heck of a year.
Hey, Coach.
Man, this sounds scary, Jim. It sounds like this could be the fate of the Golden State Warriors this year. Set records for wins.
Oh, yeah.
Now everything's kind of falling apart for them in the playoffs. But.
Speaking of that, Coach, let me ask you a question. And thanks for your time again. But how many games do you guys play during the course of a season?
Let's see, 18 regular season.
Wow.
Okay. So y'all were 16 and
out of
2.
18?
Oh yeah. But in the playoffs, I think prior to last year they were doing like a series in the championship round, but as of last season, everything was like win or go home. So
right. See, that was actually my next question because I know you guys are about to embark on this year's playoffs, correct?
Right.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, is it series or – did they change that? Are there playoff series now, or is it still
no.
one and done?
I think that was prior to us. I think that might have been 13-14 season.
Okay.
And we got in 14-15 season.
Cool.
So now it's one and done.
Okay.
Coach.
And that's the same in the championship round?
Oh yeah, all the way through. All the way through.
Yeah, that's tough.
Like the NCAA tournament right there.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And which actually leads me to something else, what we're about to embark on, but I'll get to that later. But last year really stings because we lost to a team that we had beaten twice during the regular season, and they came to our floor and they mopped the floor with us, man. I mean, it was like it was ugly. It was ugly.
Those are the painful ones.
Yes.
Coach, those are definitely the painful ones. And I know that your program is basically there to make available a platform for aspiring professional athletes that may not have had the run in college that they would have liked or they may have taken a slip and they're trying to stay in shape and get other opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about what that pro/semi-pro grind is like from a player perspective, and then of course from a coaching and manager perspective, and what you do to put your players in a position to take the next step even beyond your organization?
Right. Well, like you said, it's definitely that's one of our three major things that we try to do. And it's creating a respectable or a respected platform because, like I said, there's a lot of leagues that come and go, and a lot of them you can go to a GM or a club owner overseas and show them some stats, and they don't pay it any mind because it's not a respected league. The stats aren't verifiable. It's hit or miss. And so that's what we do. And that was my main reason for joining the TRBL because of their stability, because of their business-first model and their professionalism. So with the guys on my team, like you said, they're guys that maybe they went to a small school or maybe they weren't recruited or maybe they got in some trouble or so many different situations, just had a child so they weren't able to complete it. Or maybe it's a guy that's in the twilight of his career. Maybe he's been overseas for 5, 10 years, maybe 15 in some cases, and he's in the twilight of his career and he wants to maybe try to get some, get back in shape against high-level competition and give it one more go. So that's where we come in at. That's one of the things that we do as far as Charlotte Elite. But as far as me personally, what I try to do, because every owner is different, every organization is different. What I try to do is, whether it be being a therapist for my guys, whether it's a personal trainer and I'm getting out of bed at 6 o'clock in the morning and going to the gym and doing individual workouts, I'm just trying to be whatever my guys need me to be.
Right.
Because I'm sure you can imagine when you're chasing that dream, when you're chasing that rock, man, and you hear scams, you hear people, they're promising you stuff left and right, and guys have been burned so many times. So I think my major draw, and I think the reason why I do garner so much respect in this region is because I do what I say I'm going to do, and guys respect that. So if I say, if I know somebody, if I have a connect, or if I have someone in my network that I can reach out to and say, hey, got a guy, he's 6'4", he's real athletic, kind of raw, blah, 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 pretty much my word is my bond. So,
right.
So matter of fact, one of my guys last year, 6'10" guy, he's came from Nigeria, I want to say about 3 years ago. But he reached out to me and he wanted me to talk to one of my guys, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with him, Sharon Wright, the number 4 pick for the Sixers back in the day.
Former 76er, yeah.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's down in Atlanta, and he owned 2 semi-pro teams at the time, and one of them was the PD Vipers. And so we were going to scrimmage them prior to us, starting our inaugural season. And so my man Julius, he asked me to reach out to him, and I did. I mean, I was honest. I said, he's 6'10". He has some skill, but he's raw. He could use you. He could use your help, Sharon. So he said he'd come up and look at him, and so we scrimmaged him. And right after the game, Sharon signed him. So that was, that was a blessing for me. It made me feel good.
Right.
Certainly made
like
me
even
feel
though
good.
you didn't sign him to your team, you still helped him get where he needed to be.
Exactly, because right now in the second year, I'm not in a position where I can pay my guys. Like I am our chief sponsor. I'm our financier. I'm game day operations promoter. I own the dance and the cheer team as well, which we started this season. When you name it, I have that hat on. Outreach coordinator. You know what I'm saying? So, and I have had a couple of people that have been on my staff that have stuck around and have been really reliable. But it's a grind. It's a grind.
And speak, because you spoke of a couple of guys being on that overseas grind and stuff like that. You just recently signed 2 former NBA players, though, didn't you?
Oh yeah. And I guess that kind of leads me to what I was saying earlier. I wanted to get back to now that team, it's still Charlotte Elite, but what we're going to be doing this summer is competing in a $2 million tournament. And it's called the basketball tournament. This is the 3rd summer that they've had it. Each year the prize has doubled. So 2014 it was $500K. We barely missed getting in by a couple of votes. You only get in by fan votes. So you basically go to their website, which is www.thetournament.com, and you search teams or whatever team you want to look for. And then you click on Become a Fan, you fill out a little profile thing, and then they send you an email. And once you get that email, you click on Verify, and then your vote is counted. So the top vote-getting teams get in. And so this has gotten bigger every year. $500K 2014, it was $1 million last year, and now it's $2 million. So right. So it's crazy how much attention. Initially, people were like, "Man, that's fake." It's where are they getting the money from? It's not real. And then every year, it's more and more pros. It's more.
I'm familiar because Kobe Bryant's arch nemesis and one of his biggest rivals, Smush Parker, played in that. And, he was,
they got knocked off in the first round.
Yeah, they got knocked out. Smush was looking a little able-bodied as opposed to athletic, but it's a thorough tournament.
Because I've heard some. Cause, matter of fact, because we were in Chicago yesterday for like pre-NFL draft stuff, and we got to talking about that because we knew that we were gonna have you on, and we were just thinking of the guys that we've heard of who's played in the tournament. So it's been a lot of NBA talent that goes through this tournament. So it's definitely legit for those of you out there who's never heard of it, and definitely get involved. And before, I mean, he's not leaving now, but before Coach leaves, we're going to get him to tell you again how to vote, because we got to get them in here, man. We got to get them in here. And one of the biggest reasons, we definitely are going to be rooting for you guys, but one of the biggest reasons that we want to get you guys in this tournament and have you win it is because of, what you said you'd like to do with some of the winnings if you do win. So tell our audience, what your plan is if your team wins the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to, not we are, but I am, 20% of my earnings or winnings, I'm going to be donating to the Dog Knowledge, which is a local dog training facility here in Charlotte. And they have basically like seeing eye dogs. They're called service dogs. And the most what's the word that I'm looking for? The most able-bodied dogs can handle up to 25 commands, and they can do every single thing. And they do it for our wounded warriors, the guys that come back.
Wow.
The vets, and they come back and they might be amputees, or they might just be incapacitated in some, to some degree. And so the Dog Knowledge, they founded a nonprofit, and so they're one of our partners. So I told Debbie, she's an awesome, awesome woman, super energetic and very passionate about our wounded warriors. And the first time we had a conversation, I said, I'm in. If we win, we got it. So, yep. So that's what I plan on doing.
Yeah. So what I've learned about, you in particular, because like you said, you wear all of the hats in the organization, is that, charity is a big part of what you guys do, even if it's just, entertaining the public or giving back or whatever. But I know you have a few outreach initiatives. You want to speak on those for a sec?
Oh, sure. Well, our main two, and I tried, I think our first season, I kind of got ahead of myself because, it was my first season and I was brand new. So I was kind of stretching myself thin. But so about halfway through that season and into this season, I learned that it would be better to streamline our energy. And so our two major outreach initiatives that we perform regularly is we have a School is Cool initiative where we go into the CMS, the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system, mostly middle schools, and we talk to the kids about staying in school, staying away from drugs, staying out of gangs, not succumbing to peer pressure, being your own person, believing in yourself. And I think it really, really hits home with them when they see, local guys. Like one of my guys, Curtis Withers, he went to West Charlotte High School. He went to UNC Charlotte. He made the Bobcats roster in 2013, and he didn't stick on the team, but he's been all over the world, just by the gift, God blessed him to be able to play basketball at a really high level. So for kids to see that, and, some of my other guys too, and kids see that and they're like, hey, I'm you. You could be me. You could do this too. I think it's really inspiring for the kids. And that's one of my favorite things when they come up and start asking for autographs. It really makes you feel good, though.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one of them, one of our outreaches, and the other one is our Feed the Hungry initiative that we do once a month, where we just go uptown. It would be considered downtown, but here it's called Uptown Charlotte, and we just pass out meals. Usually it's about 50 or more. And we just pass them out. They're home cooked, and we just get to meet people and talk to them and hear their story. And some of them are heartbreaking, but all of them are really, really humbling, and it just makes you count your blessings.
That's what it's all about, man. And we know, being like you with these Philly roots, that ball is life.
Exactly.
Basketball is the thing.
Exactly.
But before we get you out of here, of course we want to tell you good luck in the upcoming playoffs. But we definitely want to help you get into this high stakes tournament. So tell everybody again how they can vote to help you guys get into the tournament, and then after that, just let everybody know where they can find you on social media, websites. Okay. Do your commercial, as my man B. Austin likes to say.
All right. Well, the tournament is, well, that's actually the website, www.thetournament.com. And from there, you just do a team search. You can find us with Team Charlotte Elite. In our profile page, you'll see my profile come up. It'll tell a little bit about me, the team itself. And you just click on Become a Fan. Once you do that, it tells you, it kind of prompts you, what's your name, your email address, and some other information. Once you give them that, they'll email you something. And this is the most important part. You have to open that email and click on Verify. Otherwise, your vote won't be counted.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're using a Gmail, usually it goes to your promotions folder instead of your primary inbox. But it's coming. The email is coming. You just got to be patient. It's coming, and you got to click on Verify. So they do the top 12 teams. It's kind of like college. It's a 64-team bracket, and it's 4 regions. We're in the South. There's the West, Midwest, and Northeast. So the top 12 teams that get votes are automatically in, and then they just kind of arbitrarily pick the other 4 teams. So it's 16 in each region. So we really want to stay in there. Right now, we're like number 9. We were up to number 4. Last week was my birthday. Today is Josh's birthday. Last week was my birthday, and my wonderful wife took me to Miami. So I haven't been on the grind getting votes like I had been. But I'm back on it.
Yeah, you got to take some time for a little vacation every once in a while, man. You're doing a lot.
Absolutely. And our social media is our name, Charlotte Elite, on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. And on Instagram, we are Charlotte Elite and the number 1. Same on Twitter, Charlotte Elite number 1. And,
all right, so you Instagram and Twitter head, Charlotte Elite 1. Make sure you follow them. And on our social media platforms, our Facebook page, Twitter, and everything, we're going to put some instructions up there and tell people how they can vote and help get you guys in this tournament as well.
Much appreciated. We
want to see you, and if I can manage to drop 50, then maybe I could drop 50.
You still trying to get on the squad.
Well, listen. Now, of course, my playoff team, my roster is already locked because we're about to head into the playoffs after we play Greensboro on Sunday. But this $2 million tournament, I still have 3 spots open, and I'm going to be holding an open tryout on May 19th.
He put the pressure on me. I'm going to be ready next year.
Putting that out there.
He'll get in shape, and then he's going to come down there and shoot y'all out of the tournament.
I got a lot of.
B. Austin, he ain't been inside the 3-point line in about 10 years. So.
Oh my God.
I ain't jumped since 2006.
I'm not saying he can't shoot it. He definitely can shoot it. But if you're looking for anything inside the 3-point line, I don't know. You might have to just play him in spots.
Free throws, man. Free throws.
I like it.
All right, well,
man, brother, we wish you all the best, and definitely a friend and family now at the War Room. So I'm sure we will have you back. We'll be looking for big things in the tournament.
We're gonna check back. Yeah. We're definitely gonna check back.
I appreciate it. I hope to have some really good news for you guys. I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic
all right.
about how.
Well, we're rooting for you, man. We're gonna push it out there to all our social media followers and try to get a bigger rooting section for you guys. Try to get you in this tournament and try to win it. All right, Coach.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
All right, same here.
No doubt, Coach.
We'll talk to you. All right, everybody. That was Coach Jamal Slayton from the Charlotte Elite down in the Tobacco Road Basketball League. Like we said, we're going to put some instructions up on social media. You guys have to vote so we can get this team in the tournament so they have a chance to win that $2 million. He has plans to do some big stuff with the winnings, some philanthropic things. So let's help him get in there. So just look out for it tomorrow morning on our Facebook page. We're going to give you guys instructions on how to vote to help get the Charlotte Elite into the tournament. All right. More stuff going on. Let's keep it, like we just said, man, ball is life, man. We did our NBA awards last week. C.J. McCollum wins the Most Improved Player Award. He was actually my pick, so shout out to C.J. for that. Steve Kerr wins the Coach of the Year. What are you guys' thoughts on that? On CJ winning? Like, even if you didn't pick him, like, do you think he's deserving of the award?
I mean, he deserves it.
There's always a couple guys who deserve the award. That's like
we be having like three, and we're forced to pick one. So shout
out to him. He definitely deserves the award, man. People work in the game and get better. They got to get saluted, man.
Yeah.
So definitely.
And for him, you know, it was also about opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
He got more of an opportunity. He's like one of the top 2 or 3 players on the team now. That wasn't the case last year because they had more talent on the team.
That's the thing. But opportunity, you got to be prepared for that, man, because opportunity will come. But opportunity will knock, but it won't call before it comes.
Hey, right. Like, and this guy's scoring average went from like 6 points a game to like 20 points a game. So, you know, whether he had it in him or not, you know, maybe his game didn't improve a lick. But like we said, opportunity is a big part of this, and he got his opportunity, and he made the best of it.
I chose Steph because it was the novel pick, and because it actually, you know, he actually has gotten a lot better, believe it or not, in that span. But if you take Steph out of the equation, there's no one else to me other than McCollum.
That's funny because I chose
Kemba because Kemba's like midget and he put up.
And I appreciate you picking my client, man. I appreciate it.
that is B. Austin's client. But look, like the Steph pick, like I've heard it a few places too, and the NBA rankings, he was like 8th in that category. But when we posed the question on our Facebook page, you know, there was a few people who actually pick Steph as well. Like for me, I find it kind of difficult, you know, because he was the MVP, even though I didn't even pick him for that award last season. So there definitely is room for improvement. He went from winning the MVP, just having an MVP caliber season, to legitimately stepping into the argument of whether or not he's the best player in the league. Because I don't think he was in that argument last season, even though he won the MVP. A lot of people might not understand what I just said, but there's a possibility you don't have to be the best player in the league to win MVP.
You already know.
Steph went from a king to a god. He's the god. he's the god right now. So it's like
he's a god.
Yeah, he's a god right now, so salute to Steph. But I thought I'm not going to front, like, you know, because I be trying to avoid other media outlets because they be stealing our stuff. But when B. Austin said that, it's funny because I laughed. I didn't even think about doing that, and I was definitely just kind of jealous that he said it. But but it's true though. Like, how gangster would that have been? Because Steph is more than likely going to win an MVP again. Imagine winning an MVP and then get another MVP.
I'm gonna tell y'all the real difference, the way that I see it. And we done took C.J. McCollum's shine, but last year Steph was like you said, Dev. He had an MVP season. He was, to me, Steve Nash 2.0.
Right.
This season,
he earned that.
He with the gods, yo.
See, but B, that's another thing with a lot of these awards. It's all in how they word the award, because when you say most improved, like Steph really does fit into that category because he really did improve twofold. CJ, like I said, I mean, you can call that an improvement, but a lot of his might have been just on opportunity. He might have had that already. You know what I'm saying? And then you look at valuable. You got to start to kind of question that too. We always talk about what does most valuable mean. Right. Steph, like, he's out right now for a while. We're going to talk about that, you know, in a couple of minutes. But at the same time, you know, his team is out there still putting the smack down on cats. So is he now just the best or one of the best players in the league, or is he really the most valuable? That team is so good, he might not actually be most valuable.
No, you're right. See, Devin,
take him off the team, they still kicking.
Devin and I agree on what that most valuable means. So
Semantics.
For me, he's absolutely not. I don't agree most times with most valuable, and y'all know how I feel about your man with the messed up hairline that don't really have much skill, but he's the best player in the world, LeBron James. He is typically the most valuable player because you take him off of teams and they suffer. They suffer, man. It's like pigs getting stuck in a soap factory. But like Steph, the squad he plays on, he's out and they still disrespecting Well, Houston has questionable manhood. Their most manly player only scores
they
5
should be ashamed of
points a
themselves.
game. I need your beard, James Harden. You gotta cut that, yo.
You don't deserve to be a part of the beard gang.
You can't
man.
be a part of the beard gang, man.
But B, bringing up LeBron, I also think LeBron is the most valuable player, most years, probably even this year. But I think I still see it a little differently than everybody else, because a lot of people will tell you, like, well, when LeBron left Cleveland, they went from 60 games to, 8 games or however many games they won. And then when he came back, they go straight to the finals. I don't think his value is just in that, because that kind of talk gets a little overstated as well, because if you think about it, when LeBron leaves teams, other cats leave the team too. So that's he's not like the only person that's leaving, but when he comes back, he brings a mob with him. He came back.
Let me
forced
take it a
them
step further though. Can you include that in his values? Because someone in
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why I look at it a little differently. It's not just what he does on the floor. It's the fact that cats want to play with him.
Yo, he crashes entire economies and makes entire economies just by going to a different team. Like.
Exactly. I did. That's exactly what my point was. That's what I was driving at. So it's not always just what he does on the floor, because if you look at a team like Miami, if LeBron doesn't play in Miami and you got the big 2 instead of the big 3, that they in their prime, they still had a chance to do something. You know what I'm saying? The Wayne Wade and Chris Bosh, without LeBron taking, away from most of the stuff they like to do, they still would have had a chance in the Eastern Conference. But it's the fact that LeBron comes, then the role players want to sign too. You got cats like the prideless dudes like
the great. You got the great Mike Miller. The great
Ray Allen and Mike Miller. You get the shooters that want to play around him because they know
Ray Allen's a
he likes to kick it out to open shooters. So why wouldn't you want to play with LeBron if you're a shooter?
Respect the shooter. Listen though, so I mean, LeBron is arguably the most valuable athlete in all of sports. So I guess, like you said, to start this conversation, it depends upon how you define most valuable player. Getting back
most
to the
valuable,
MIP,
most improved.
Getting back to the MIP though, what do you guys think about Andre Drummond in his game this year versus last year? Do you think it was should he be mentioned at all?
Jimmy, we don't respect guys that aren't shooters. My man goes to the free throw line.
Yo, I know, I know you respect the shooters.
The game.
No, he respect the shooters. But seriously though.
He definitely could fall somewhere in the most improved category. But shout out to Frank and Andy from the No Look Pass podcast, which is a part of the War Room Sports Podcast Network. If you love basketball, you got to listen to Frank and Andy. The show is great. I was listening earlier today, and they were talking about Andre Drummond, and they said something that I kind of agree with. Now, it doesn't take away from Jimmy's point, because I agree with that as well. You have to put his name in there. But they were talking about how if the Detroit Pistons are basically going to stand pat and Andre Drummond's going to be your best player, then they could probably wrap it up as far as thinking about championships in the last few years. But he definitely had, he could be in that category for the last 2 or 3 years. He improves yearly. And, that's what I liked about him. But it might not just be Drummond, Jim. It might be a big man thing. It's just not that kind of league anymore. Can you win with your best player being a big man?
Great question, and I got to think about that.
I think you can win with Boogie.
Why?
I mean,
what are they winning?
Too, though. That's questionable.
What if they ain't even in the playoffs? At least Drummond in the playoffs. And that's not a knock on Boogie. That's just that's a part of the point that we're making. If a big man is your best dude,
they have a team full of assholes though, Dev. It's not Boogie. Like they got a team full of.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I gotta think about that. I don't know the answer to that because I guess like Paul, it depends upon how you define big man. If you're saying someone that plays power forward or center, or because you got guys now that play on the wing, small forward
that are like 6'10". Yeah.
So I guess if
you can't win with Anthony Davis, well, we don't know.
No, shout out to the guys at No Look Podcast for that question that we have to ponder. Like we've been doing lately. Get back to us. We'll talk about it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it's definitely a good one. What are your thoughts on Steve Kerr winning? Because I heard a lot of people saying, y'all mentioned it. I'm not sure if y'all mentioned it in jest. Like a lot of people think he shouldn't win shouldn't have won Coach of the Year because of the number of games he missed, the fact that Luke Walton stepped up and they won every game that he coached.
I think that's a testament. I think that's a testament to Steve Kerr being a bit of Luke Walton's surrogate coaching father and teaching him. I think that's, a testament to how he coaches his players up. I definitely believe he deserves it for that squad. We would be remiss if we didn't shout out to all of our brethren of pigmented color, melaninated brothers, black folks, because there's still a lot of y'all screaming that that's Mark Jackson's team, FOH.
Yeah. I like Mark Jackson as well, man, but y'all got to get over that. Like, they were improving under Mark Jackson. They won a title and then broke the NBA record for wins under Steve Kerr. Like, okay, somebody told us that, that's the trajectory that Mark Jackson put him on. Come on, man. Let's just stop dwelling in the past. Shout out to Mark because he's up for a lot of jobs right now. But let's not give him the credit for what the Golden State Warriors are doing right now. The team runs a whole different type of system, right now. When Mark Jackson was there, Iguodala was still a starter. Draymond Green was not running, the offense was not being run through Draymond Green. A lot of the stuff that has them winning at the clip that they're winning right now. But I agree with B. Austin when he says, what Luke Walton did. I give Steve Kerr more props for that because, remember, everybody, when we used to talk about Phil Jackson, people used to say stuff like, well, Phil on the sideline, he's not even saying nothing. He's just sitting there like a lump.
Yeah.
He never called timeout. But this is what you get when you are so prepared. That's what practice is for.
Preparation.
When you prepare your team, to that level, once you get in game, you don't have to go around screaming like a raving maniac and stuff like that. And testament to what we got?
Breaking news. Ezekiel Elliott, Ohio.
Come on, man.
Has just come out of the closet.
Come on, man. I knew you was gonna say that. I don't know why I sent you that picture, yo. Hey, Dev.
I'm thinking, you are using the breaking news soundbite in vain, man.
I've never seen anything like that on the red carpet. Don't ask me opinion. I don't got an opinion, man. Shout out to Sid, man. Outsports, y'all got it.
I'm looking at it now. Maybe.
Now you know what. Come on, go ahead. Finish your thought. I apologize.
Speaking of that, shout out to Brandon Campbell. She wrote a piece on fashion for the NFL blog. She actually wrote it for the NFL player engagement site, which is a part of NFL.com. She quoted me in it, so I told her that I'm a classic man, and all this stuff that they doing is a little too much.
Yo, I was laughing.
So shout out to her for that and getting World Sports.
I saw Dev's name on NFL.com, and I'm like, Dev trying to be politically correct instead of saying what he really feels.
I chased it up.
My man Dev get interviewed by NFL.com talking about I prefer the more classic look. I wish players would
look, man, we gotta get in good
look.
with Roger Goodell, man. He a dictator, man. We say the wrong thing and he gonna put us on that list. He got a list. He don't want to be on it. NFL too valuable. But no, with the Steve Kerr thing, I just think a great coach prepares his team so well that, if an emergency happens, you can step away and the team can still be successful. But people kind of go too far with it as if he didn't talk to, Luke Walton every day, probably multiple times a day. It was like Steve Kerr just died for a little while, like he was in a coma, and Luke Walton just did his own thing. Luke Walton went out there and ran what Steve Kerr ran. He did the rotations that Steve Kerr put into the system. When you win 73 games, your team wins 73 games, there's no way that the coach of that team is not going to win.
Yeah, that's true.
I respect Luke Walton. I believe that one day he will be an excellent head coach. But FOH to all of this kooky talk.
All right, we're going to see that, though. Luke going to go to – because he's going to have to start with a bad team. everybody's a prisoner of the moment. Because even if in the future he does become a great coach, he's going to go to a bad team. They're going to lose a bunch of games, and everybody's going to be off the Luke Walton train that quick.
Well, the way I look at it is I look at it a whole different way, man. Luke Walton will be compensated for the work that he put in, so he earned himself a nice check. But Dev, it's funny you talk about.
I know he was eighth in the voting, Jim. He did get votes. People voted for him.
It's funny that you mentioned that in terms of like preparation and what have you, because remember that game when we were in high school and we were playing Gratz, and in the first half we was giving them work and we thought we was nice, and then in the second half.
Is this the second week in a row that Jimmy brings up high school memories that nobody wants to relive?
But it's funny though, because I think about that when you talk about preparation. So the legendary Coach Ellerby from Gratz, like we giving them work in the first half. Like this is back when Gratz. This is back when Gratz was a powerhouse. The boys literally put up one finger. Like, I don't know what it meant. After he put up that one finger, they put the press on and, like, went on like a 38 to nothing run on it.
This is embarrassing right here. I'm gonna tell you how the game went just because Jimmy brought it up. This is very embarrassing because, B, and I, when we were coaching high school basketball, we told dudes, y'all got to play with a little more pride. We can't be getting beat the way we were getting beat. But listen. We were down, and remember, Jimmy threw he prefaced it by telling you Gratz was still a powerhouse. This is the mid '90s, Simon Gratz. Everybody know about Simon Gratz. So, first quarter, we down 1 point after one. We down 10 points at the half, and they're like, okay, Gratz is blowing everybody out. So it's like, we play with these dudes. It's all good. There ain't nothing. And like Jimmy said, man, I don't know what he did. He threw something like gang sign up, and he sat down. Remember that, Jim? Like, he threw that up, and he stopped coaching for the rest of the game. So I guess that sign means they're getting a little too confident. Let's play street ball. I'm done.
Go do what y'all do.
We lost by 50.
You put the goons
we were down 10 at the half and lost by 50.
Yeah, pretty much.
50.
Y'all didn't. Dad, you ain't trying to rumble nobody?
We should have told that story while Coach was on the line because he played for Engineering and Science actually, Jim.
Oh, we beat them though.
He was right. He was there. He was there right before the Len Greer time though. Because remember we were seniors. Len Greer was a sophomore, and he was actually leading the league in scoring as a sophomore.
Yeah, we beat them. But yo, that was crazy.
I hacked him up. I like to hack.
Yo, you hacked Len. Yo, Len was a little big head dude.
Yo, Coach Ellerby used to do it often. Coach Ellerby wouldn't you see him doing the games and be like, he ain't that good a coach. He ain't doing nothing. But he would just have amazing hand gestures. Like, I remember one time.
Yo, look how he recruited though. I
remember as a freshman.
Yeah, because them boys weren't from that neighborhood.
Yo, they was not. They was getting cats from Erie, Pennsylvania.
They was not from that neighborhood.
I remember the one year they were playing Central, same thing, and he this is when Rasheed Wallace was on the team.
Yeah.
My man pushed your finger, and next thing you know, the score was 100-44.
She just started. When he put the gang sign up, she just started dunking.
Yo, she was literally running off into the middle of the lane, and they would just throw it high where nobody could reach it but him. He would jump up, grab it, and dunk reverse without even looking at the basket. Now, mind you, our center is 6'5". She is 6. He was weak. She is a 6'10", 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rasheed
Wallace.
All right,
man. Jimmy, stop bringing up O's.
Hey, but listen, though, you got to understand, though, the two stories I told, right? We got torched by Kobe and Rasheed Wallace, man. Both dudes are legends.
Mm-hmm.
So,
no doubt.
You know
no doubt. Speaking of good coaches,
Dev, last thing I want to say about this, we'd have bust any of their ass on the SAT, though. How about that?
Oh, yeah, and we did. We will and we did. But look, talking about good coaches, let's talk about some not so good coaches. Byron Scott gets fired by Jimmy's beloved Lakers. I tried to tell y'all from the beginning, but nobody want to listen to me. Some dudes you kind of wonder, and I don't think people going to turn this into, how you not trooping for your brothers, but I didn't really think he was a good coach
ever
to begin with.
Anywhere.
Yeah, so what do you expect? But the crazy part is how the Lakers aren't giving him that much of a shot. You bring him in with an old, decrepit Kobe Bryant and a bunch of young bums, and you expect him to be on his Beyonce and take lemons and make lemonade. Like, I don't really know. That's one of these situations where I don't know what you expected from this man.
Are you
I really
finished?
don't know what you expected
Are
from
you
him.
done?
And he wasn't that. I don't know, man.
Are y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.
Listen, man.
No more talking,
Yo, listen though. The thing about this is, I kind of agree with y'all. I never wanted to say that, but Byron had never been a good coach because Byron was so likable as a player, Paul. But he was one of those guys that everybody liked. Byron Scott.
No, to this day, they still like you. They still
because
you're probably friends with everybody.
Listen, man, that goes to show you, man. My grandma told me when I was a kid, man, it don't cost no money to be nice to people, and it has pays a huge dividend. So it's all about being nice to people. So Byron's gonna keep getting opportunities because he's a nice guy.
Let me the assholes win though.
He's Joe Dumars, man. Joe Dumars and Byron Scott are the nicest guys in the world, and they keep getting jobs.
But you know what Byron Scott is saying right now? Byron Scott is listening to this, and he like.
Telling all three of y'all stop playing with my name.
All three of y'all stop playing with my name.
Y'all.
Yeah.
I'm saying my name. Put some respect on it. Did you?
My bad, Byron. All right, we got some calls on the line, Jim, because I know Fred Perdue is going to come on in about 8 minutes to talk some.
Is Fred Perdue going to explain what Ezekiel Elliott has done thus far at the draft? Because Ezekiel Elliott is trending on Twitter for the wrong reason.
We need Sid for that.
But listen,
it's crazy. And the injury bug is killing the playoffs, man. I mean, the first round was already full of blowouts, but now Steph, 2 weeks at least, CP3 indefinitely, whatever the hell that means in the playoffs, and then you got Blake Griffin. The quad is bothering him again. He's out for the whole playoffs. So it's like Steph goes down, and everybody's thinking, oh man, the Warriors are in trouble because they're not going to beat the Clippers in the second round without Steph. And then the Clippers' two best players get hurt. Like, how lucky is this team? People already talked about the luck that played a part in Golden State's run last season, but it's like when you think they're done because Steph get injured, then this happens to the Clippers. So now it's up to the Blazers.
I was listening to another a radio program. Shout out to the Black Flag Radio. They actually gonna have me on as a guest tomorrow night. You know what I'm saying? But anyway. But they one of the hosts on that show literally said that the Golden State Warriors are overrated, and I'm like, overrated. And one of his arguments were the fact that they ducked the better teams last year. I'm like, but you only can play who's in front of you for one, and they just won 73 games.
Did they use duck? Because this ain't boxing. Like they didn't not sign up.
They didn't use the term duck, but they said they avoided. They not intentionally, but like. That's what I was telling him. Like, well, they play who's in front of them, and then they follow it up with 73 wins. It's not like they won last year and disappeared. I mean,
didn't make the playoffs this year. So.
Yeah, they followed that up by winning the most games in the history of the league. Like, they're a good team. But it was interesting. But it also shows like, Dwight Howard. Like, what? Dwight Howard on the top 10 and not mentioned at all.
Them two dudes in Houston. If we are in their presence, we gotta tell them, look, JoJo Award, man, here. They have to be ashamed of themselves.
Dwight Howard.
His backup center Uchiwali verse better than his.
Dwight Howard literally puts up like Samaki Walker, Elton Campbell numbers now. Like he was on the way.
He ain't got no moves.
He didn't have moves when he done it. That 1 year in Atlanta when they went to the finals and they lost to Kobe and them, Dwight played his ass off. It's like he's so it's like
spinal.
He lost his back.
All right, before we take these calls, and these calls got to be quick because Fred is on. He got to get in at a good time. He's in a little NFL draft crunch. Let me just let everybody know the stat of the week, and it is related to the Golden State Warriors because even without Steph, these dudes are still breaking records and making history. So in Game 5, without Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors set a shooting record. Let me find this shooting record because I'm sitting here talking about it, and I don't even have it up in front of me. Here it is right here. So even without Curry, the Warriors make shooting history. Klay Thompson made 10 of 14 shots from the floor in Game 5, and Sean Livingston, Steph's backup, drained 7 of 8 from the field as the Warriors advanced to the second round with a 114-81 Game 5 win over the Rockets. No team starting guards had both shot better than 70% in a playoff game since Miami's Dwayne Wade and Jason Williams. Wade was 13 for 17, and Jay Will was 3 for 4 in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pistons in 2006. So these dudes shot over 70% from the floor, and one of these dudes was not Steph Curry. Like, this team, they can't be overrated, though. They can't.
Yo, man. Yeah, they can't.
I don't know where at a certain point, you have to look yourself in the mirror and be honest. If you're not going to be honest with me, you're a hater. You're a hater, and just call it what it is, and we respect it here in the War Room. We've all had those moments, those people, those places, those things where we just have to call it what it is. And I think it helps our character to just say, look, I don't like that guy. I don't have a reason. The waffle. Maybe it's because they're waffle colored. Maybe it's because they're I don't know. But
well, B, hold on. Let us take these calls because we got like 3 minutes and 2 calls. And you're taking all the callers' time. So let's go to the phone lines real quick. We got Tobias on the line. Roll damn Tide. Let's go Bucks.
All right, I know I was late, but here's a couple of things. First, under 5 black players in the green room with white women next to them, they get called.
Ezekiel Elliott might have a white dude with him.
You ain't lying. Hey, just call it what it is. Let's just be honest. Hey, knock it. I always think it's funny though. But here's a couple things real quick.
Sorry, been done.
A couple things real quick.
All right.
Yeah, everybody want to hate, talk the Warriors overrated, talking about they didn't play these teams. It's not their fault the Clippers blew a 3-1 lead to the Houston Rockets, the same team that Golden State dusted off 2 years in a row. It ain't their fault that San Antonio blew the game at the end of the year last year and lost to the Clippers in 7 games. It ain't their fault that every year LeBron goes to the East without a challenge. Why nobody knocks him for that? Because when the last time he had a real challenge in the East? And the Bulls was hurt, I already know. So everybody wants to pick these people apart, but they got to give that organization credit. They have players on that team that do more than one thing. They got ball handlers. They got guys who create. Think about this. Draymond Green can create. That's a matchup problem. I'll say this real quick. Mark Jackson was still building the team around David Lee, Andre Iguodala. No disrespect to Iguodala, but he ain't that dude. And let's be real.
That's why people got to give up on that. I mean, I like Mark, but damn, come on now. This is not the same team.
And I said, and you know what? And that says a lot about that organization, that team that's underrated. Iguodala and David Lee took those emotions and didn't make a peep. But, yeah, I'm going to talk about my Bulls real quick. Pau Gasol don't want to come off the bench. That stuff goes a long way when you're talking about building team chemistry. And that's why he will still have a job. And I'll say this. Shout out to Sean Livingston after all those injuries he had.
Yo,
he's nice. Such an NBA player. Shout out to him. Yeah.
He's nice.
Yes. And so I know you guys got other people and stuff. Hey, you guys take it easy, man. And I want to let y'all know, man. Jameis Winston's looking good, baby. Roll time, baby.
No time. All right, good luck to your Bucks tonight, man. Peace.
Peace, man.
Yeah, man. We got another call on the line. We got the homie calling in from California. That's Mr. AKA. What's the AKA tonight, good brother?
What's up, man? Yo, check Event Stats on YouTube. Yo, it's your boy Big Rob, a.k.a. the L.A. Rams first draft. A.k.a. Wale the Wood down some Yanks, been put some respect on it, you know what I mean? A.k.a., you know what I'm saying? You can get with this or you can get with that, you know what I mean? So, anyway. Golf or win.
I ain't got no more talking.
Yeah, you might see me all blue, all red every day.
What's up, man? Rob, you there?
Yeah, what is 50 Tyson, man? That don't even look like.
Yo, don't ask me. But look, what's up? The draft is about to start in a little while, man. You know, you've been talking for the last few weeks. Your team made the trade. You ready for Carson Wentz to be the future of your Philadelphia Eagles?
You know, Cream, man. Carson Wentz was everything around me. I don't care.
He rules everything around you.
It's a figure of speech, man. Take it literally if you want to, man. Take it if you want. But anyways, man, like
I don't even get the figure.
But before we get to that, you know, Byron Scott's gone. Good riddance. I mean, the whole organization's a shamble. He's a scapegoat. That's all I gotta say. Hope they get somebody from the Spurs. I don't know, but it is what it is. Actually, they should fire him because he's the reason why we got D'Angelo Russell instead of Emmanuel Mudiay. And, you know, that was the obvious pick, but they're stupid. So, yeah, but as far as the NFL draft is concerned, yeah, man, I think whether it's Carson Wentz or Jared Goff, I would like to get Jared Goff because he seems to be more polished. However, you never know. Carson Wentz may turn out to be, you know, I mean, Jimmy got me being very, like, optimistic, so I don't know. He said, give him a chance, I'll give him a chance. So, hey, it is what it is. I just want the Cowboys to get Jalen Ramsey. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. We'll right to you next week, good bro.
All right, Rob. We holler at you.
All right, and the crop top, man, the crop top is so 80s, man. Yo, man, Zeke, yo, he got to stop following Odell Beckham's Instagram, okay?
Yo.
All right, Rob. Peace out.
All right.
Yeah.
He said a crop top so 80s. Like, I ain't never seen a crop top dress shirt. Like,
I mean, Prince probably
that's
wore
for the
it,
football field, dog. That's for the football field when you're a college athlete. Like, come on, man.
Yo, real quick, I know we talking football, but I just saw a story that I thought was like, you know, pretty amazing. Remember that high school guy that was 30 years old, and they said you know, he got arrested because he was trying to play high school ball at 30.
Oh yeah.
All right, so my man straight said with a straight face, like, "Yo, it was an honest mistake." Huh?
Yo, how's that? That's the antithesis of an honest mistake. Like, yo, what are you talking about?
That was
nothing but a dishonest mistake.
Yo, he said, I don't know how old I am. Yo, oh my God, that's an honest mistake. FOH, dog. Anyway. Yo, shout out to the callers, man. But the draft is definitely this evening, man. And you know, it's a lot going on with that. Before we do that, Dev, you want to tell the people how to get in touch with us so we can jump into our draft talk?
Yes, sir. Y'all can check out our website at warroomsports.com to call in and speak with us about any of the NFL draft topics. Dial the Digital Extreme Tech hotline at 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And Fred Perdue will be with us momentarily, you know, to talk about what he's looking forward to in tonight's first round and, you know, throughout the weekend. So let's
go. The NFL draft is brought to you by Sports the Book. If you are tired of reading the same old sports books with tired of sports lists, rankings, and imaginary lineups, guess what? Go cop sports. Smart people want to read sports. This is the Illmatic of sports books, and it's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture that will keep you mesmerized. Here's how you get it. Go to warroomsports.com or go to sportsthebook.com. You know what I'm talking about? Got to get that Sports the Book. Do not miss this movement. Gentlemen, it is time to talk about the National Football League.
All right.
You know, we got the draft tonight. Before we do, a couple things that we got to, talk about. One is Tom Brady, who the Federal Appeals Court ruled that he must serve his 4-game Deflategate suspension. You guys got any thoughts on this?
Go ahead.
It's just overdue. Like, you know, there's too much back and forth with this whole situation. You know, just do it. You know, the Patriots are a successful team. They can probably eke out at least 2 wins with the dude on the shelf. So just let it happen. Stop with all the fighting, because I think at this point it's a fight that the Patriots can't win, because the NFL, even though the Patriots are their quote-unquote gold standard franchise, the NFL is hard-pressed right now to prove to the other teams that we don't favor the Patriots. If we could suspend Tom Brady, then everybody's fair game. So they're trying to prove that. So,
my thing is the Patriots are a bunch of cheaters, which is why, like, last year we had to, beat on them twice. And I'm talking trash primarily because Fred Purdue is definitely on the line. Definitely a team. You know what I'm saying? He allegedly was a fan before they started winning. So, it is what it is, man.
They weren't alive before they started winning.
I feel like this is indicative. I feel like this is really indicative of where Brady is at in his career. I feel like had this been 5 years ago, definitely 8 years ago, Robert Kraft and the powers that be would have sent that bag to where it needed to go. And, kind of like in the casino when the guy comes in and the skim money come off, don't nobody see that happening. I mean, he just do what he do. But Robert Kraft understands that the age factor, you can't invest that in Brady anymore. So you
be Austin.
Mm-hmm. Are y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talk.
Let's get the homie on the line right now, the Patriots fan, the draft expert. We have Fred Purdue in the war room. Fred, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. This is your night, man. This is your weekend. I know you're excited.
All the work on the Underwear Olympics culminates in this.
We have the live slave auction starting pretty soon.
Wow. Yeah, he went there. He went there. Yeah, so Fred, what's going on, man? I mean, it's highly publicized of what's going to happen on the first and second picks. No matter what order they try to act like it's going to go down. We think we know the order, but just in case we don't, we still know the two players unless somebody's going to throw a whole wrench in this. So let's skip that and talk to you about what you think the Chargers are going to do at number 3.
The Chargers have multiple directions they can go. Now, if we want to talk about them getting better and winning, you go draft an offensive tackle, and I'm not talking about that one from Notre Dame. I'm talking about the one from Ole Miss. We don't draft right tackle with the 3rd overall pick. You just don't do that. You draft left tackles who are going to be stalwarts in your offense, who can run block, they can pass block, and protect Phillip Rivers because God knows the rest of their offensive line steps on Phillip Rivers' feet every time the ball is snapped. One step. Phillip Rivers takes one step, and he's already got someone in his back pocket. So you go get a stalwart left tackle to protect him for the few years he has left before you have to go get another quarterback. Or you go and help Jason Verrett, that 5'9" corner who can't really guard any of those top 6'2", 6'3" corner receivers out there. You go get Jalen Ramsey, a guy who can play corner, safety, and can be out in those nickel packages. He's a 3-down corner, safety hybrid, and he's world-class athlete. So you go out and get one of the two. You can't go wrong. But for my money, if you really want to win and, sell some tickets along the way, go get Jalen Ramsey. If you want to protect your quarterback and have a chance to keep him healthy until he's roughly 38 years old and him possibly not leave for another team looking for some, a championship, because we all know at this point in his career, Phillip Rivers could leave at some point. Maybe, just maybe, especially when you have a team in flux as far as location, and he may want to win something at some point, a la Peyton Manning, because, you have to go somewhere else to win again. Yeah, I know, Jimmy, I know. You got to go somewhere else to win, but, But if you want to win,
the slander between these two dudes. Fred, look.
Man, yo, you talking to a champion right now, man. Yo, what's wrong with you, man?
You're also talking to a champion. Been there, done that 4 times. 4 times.
Ooh.
Fred, man. I think
in the 2000, we can talk. Get to maybe.
I'm saying my name. Put some respect on it. Did you?
No respect given.
No respect on it. Did you?
He said you got to put some respect on it, man. You can't talk to the champs like that, man.
I don't give Mark Sanchez any respect. Enjoy it because Mark Sanchez is your quarterback going forward.
I'm not paying attention to these peon teams, these cheating ass teams. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Sanchez can't be no worse than my man Peyton was last season. Look, listen, he probably could though. Fred, let's talk about some of these teams who's actually moved back in the draft, through trades or whatever. You got the Browns and the Dolphins. The Browns actually are picking at 8 because of the moving down with the trade from the Philadelphia Eagles, which is a pick that the Eagles actually got from the Dolphins in a trade. And the Dolphins are back at number 13, the original slot of the Philadelphia Eagles. What kind of moves do you foresee these two teams making?
The Browns are in a great position. The Browns are in a very great position, at least if they want to win.
But before you continue, they're the Browns.
They are the Browns, and
they will mess it up. But go ahead.
And we're also talking about the Miami Dolphins, the same Miami Dolphins that have drafted guys like Deion Jordan and Ted Ginn Jr. So we have two franchises going in the same direction, which is down. They've been at the bottom of their divisions every single year. I think the last time the Browns were even relevant was when Derek Anderson was their quarterback, and he won 10 games.
Real quick.
I thought you were going to say when Ernest Biner was their running back. I
want you guys to pay attention to something that I've noticed going back and listening to this body of work that we've contributed to society and culture, is that anytime the Miami Dolphins come up, Fred has nothing but slander. Considering he's a Patriots fan, it makes
Patriots
sense.
fan.
But I've picked up on that. You've never had one positive word to say about the Dolphins in the last 3 years.
You know where that comes from, though, Jim? That comes from being a fan in a division where, the Miami Dolphins are basically a team in his area down in Florida.
Yeah, where he lives.
People tend, if you're not a team, like most people, not everybody, but a lot of people who aren't fans of their home teams and they pick a team in the division, they usually have more slander for the home team because they want those people at home to, to feel that heat. So I get it. I get it.
I am not a fan of their moves. Some of them I was okay with, but most of the time I'm not a fan of their owner, their GM, their head coaching choices, their quarterback choices. Every position on that team is somewhat. I'm not too happy.
I'm not. I feel you. I'm also not a fan of their stadium. That's a dump.
Oh,
that
$40 parking isn't great either, by the way.
Yeah,
so,
that's a dump. As a matter of fact, Florida, period. As much as Florida contributes to the culture of football, their professional teams playing some dumps. I've been to Miami, Tampa, and Jacksonville Stadium, and all three of them are dumps. Jacksonville recently did some renovations, so I haven't been since the renovations.
Miami is doing some renovations too. Miami is doing some renovations, but
their renovation needs to come. Their renovation needs to be in the form of a wrecking ball.
Long since overdue.
But I think Tampa's is the worst, though. Tampa's is
very
terrible.
much so. Tampa isn't. It's not as bad as it used to be, but it's not great either. It's not great either. And
just because they got a pirate ship behind the end zone, don't mean it's nice.
The only time anyone shows up to that stadium is when Florida and Georgia actually play. That's the only time anyone shows up. So, hey.
All right, so give us some risers and fallers. Like, we know how everything gets – the draft is like the 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, and everything gets overanalyzed. So I know at this point, there's some people moving up the boards. There's some people moving down the boards. Who we got in these categories?
Man, there's a lot of great players in this draft, and we'll start with the good. You always want to hear the good. So let's start with Leonard Floyd, Georgia, outside linebacker. He's been shooting up boards. He's a little bit overrated for my blood, but many teams like him. They love him. I'll even say love him. He's a very athletic 3-4, 4-3 guy. He's very scheme versatile, athletic, a little undersized for my blood also, but he's quick. And I think he's going to give you that extra thump when it comes to rushing the passer. I'm not in love with his coverage skills, but if all you want him for is rushing the passer, go after Leonard Floyd. I can fully see him going in that top 15. Some team may take a chance on him. For me also, I don't really like the pick of a running back in the first round. I would never take a running back. I don't care if it's Adrian Peterson, and yes, I'm saying this. You can have Adrian Peterson.
You right now.
I would never take a running back in the first round.
Adrian Peterson is proof that our bloodlines that made it over to this country were of the purest breed.
Yo, he definitely just said. Yeah, I don't even think you understand how deep it goes. Like dog, he's original man.
He is. He's a grown man.
He's a more. How could you say that, man?
I would never take a running back in the first round. It is proven. You will not win Super Bowls. The Super Bowl winning running backs don't go in the first round for the most part. You can have Trent Richardson going in the first round. You can have Doug Martin going in the first round. You can have Todd Gurley, Adrian Peterson. You can have everyone. I might make one, maybe two exceptions, and those are very small, or those are very big. Walter Payton, if at any point if he came out in the first round, a player like him came out in the first round, I consider it. And a guy like an Emmitt Smith. Those are the only two players if I had to redo any draft, I'd take them.
So
otherwise, I would not touch, and I definitely wouldn't touch a running back in the top 10.
Well, back then, you even count back then? Because back then, Back then too, because wow.
I'd take Jim Brown with the first pick. But hold on though.
You can find great running backs in every round in the later rounds. I mean,
but hold on though. I get your point, but I think that you can't say that about Adrian Peterson. He's a different breed though. Like,
how many Super Bowls has he won? How many playoff games has he won?
That's a team thing, dude.
Yo, you're talking about a team sport. I can name you a lot of great quarterbacks who were picked in the first round, great safeties, great wide receivers that have never won a Super Bowl. That whole thing of how many bowls have they won, that's ridiculous, Fred. You know better than that.
I do know better than that, but no, not so fast, my friend. Not so fast, my friend. I will quote the great Lee Corso with that one. Not so fast. Because here's the thing, running backs have short shelf lives. I'll take a quarterback early in that top 10 knowing that he's an elite guy. I'll take a left tackle, a wide receiver.
No, you're not listening to me. I agree with the overall premise. I just don't agree with you putting Adrian Peterson on that list. The same way you make an exception for a Walter Payton, you make an exception for an Adrian Peterson, the original black man. That's all I'm saying.
The original black man. The original black man. I love it. I love Adrian Peterson, the player, but I wouldn't take – I don't take running backs in the first round. I'd rather go find the next Clinton Portis, the next Willis McGahee, despite him going in the first round. I'll find another Frank Gore. I'll find another Terrell Davis. They're out there. And, I mean, even in this draft, you have guys like Alex Collins, Daniel Lasco. You have guys like that who can really impact your game. A Keith Marshall who's very much comparable to
all three of us understand what you're saying, but we know what Adrian Peterson's about. We know what he's about. Be awesome, man. Talk some sense into him, man.
Yo, I think you're talking about somebody that tore his knee up and healed it miraculously in three months. He tore his knee up and then came back and rushed for like 1,700 yards. Yo, if that ain't original, come on, man.
Adrian Peterson is a great player, but when it comes to drafting and getting the best value for your buck, the best value for your buck comes later in rounds because I can pay a player a little less, and we're not talking from a fan point of view. We're talking from running the team point of view. I want to pay the least amount of money for the best player I can get.
I agree. I actually agree with you, Fred, but there's always an exception, and Adrian is not of this earth, man.
Well, listen. Speaking of later rounds, though. Who's on your list for like day 2 and day 3 steals where you can get more bang for your buck? Like who you got on that type of list?
Call me crazy, but I think guys like
we did that when you said Jay Cutler, But yeah, who you got?
I'll never live that one down when you have a quarterback.
Never ever.
Jay Cutler.
Jimmy done already memed you. It's over.
I need a T-shirt, man. I need a T-shirt with that on it. But for the for the second and third rounds, look for guys like Alex Collins, a guy who's a bigger back, and his teammate Jonathan Williams coming off of a bit of an injury, but both of those guys very productive running backs, both 1,000-yard rushers. Alex Collins was actually the running back from South Florida that his mom decided to hold his letter of intent 3 years ago. Go figure. He's now he'll be an NFL running back. Javon Hargrave.
No money for her.
Definitely not. Definitely not. Looking for
yourself.
In the second round, Miami corner safety Artie Burns. He also, I'm looking at him to be one of those possible 3 to 4 year out of the league kind of guys who might maybe a little broke. Only reason I say this, before you ever get to the draft, you drop $41,000 in jewelry and you haven't been drafted yet. Just saying. For me, that's a bit much. I'm not trying to call anything bad on the brother's career, but that's a little bit excessive. But even I look for maybe a slide for Robert Nkemdiche, Ole Miss defensive lineman. The off the field issues, things like that could hurt him. I look at a guy like a William Jackson from Houston. He may slide a little. Vernon Hargraves, he may be a back of the first round guy, and he may actually fall out of the first round after all of the things that have been said about him, about how great he is, and he's been looked at by Tampa, his hometown team. I may see him sliding to the later back part of the first round. Eli Apple, Darren Williams, both Ohio State linebacker and safety. Love both of those guys. Also looking at tight end. Looking at tight end, I like Austin Hooper from Stanford. The tight end position is very, very, very weak. If you don't get a tight end in those first 2 to 3 rounds,
don't mess with one at all.
Don't touch them. But definitely, there are a lot of great players in this draft, and this is one of those drafts where the defensive and offensive lines will shine. And I'm just saying, my pick, I'm hoping, because this Patriots team doesn't have a first-round pick. I'm begging the powers that be, make A'Shawn Robinson slide a little bit to that second round. Belichick goes ahead and packages some of those second-round picks together, moves back up in that second round because we can't transfer those second-round picks.
During his draft analysis. Look at him rooting.
And just somehow find a way to get A'Shawn Robinson.
Yo, Fred, you're supposed to be non-biased, family.
Hey, so, Fred, who's your biggest Jadeveon Clowney pick? I'm sorry. I mean your biggest boomer bust pick.
Boomer bust picks. Oh, man. Again, Robert Nkemdiche. He has a hot and cold motor. I liked him coming out of high school. He was the number one player in the country. Since then, after a freshman year where he had a very productive year, he got double teams, some triple teams. They moved him inside the defensive tackle. Didn't really work out that well. But for me, I also look at wide receiver Corey Coleman. He's a very fast receiver, small receiver, but we all know what happens at Baylor. They don't really play an NFL style of game. It's more of a
so he's fast, small, and can't run a route, and his hands are suspect.
Okay. I didn't say his hands were suspect, sir. I did not say that. My other boom or bust picks, Notre Dame, 2 Notre Dame players, and I do throw shade at Notre Dame, those little Irish people. Will Fuller, wide receiver. If you want to see the next Ted Ginn, go watch Will Fuller. He's very much the same player, very fast, and he's had 5 touchdowns of 72 yards or more in college, but his hands are extremely suspect. Ronnie Stanley, who's really supposed to be rated as the better tackle over Laramie Tunsil. I'm not sold on a right tackle going high. And last but not least, got to look at Paxton Lynch, quarterback from Memphis. He actually had the big win over Ole Miss earlier in the year. Since then, he kind of tapered off. Cardale Jones, Ohio State quarterback. Comparable to apparently to Jamarcus Russell by some NFL scouts. I see a lot of mentally Jamarcus Russell, possibly physically too. He can throw the ball a mile and can't hit a receiver after he throws that ball the mile. So I'm not a fan of either. I'm not a fan of him as well. Christian Hackenberg is interesting from Penn State, quarterback. I think he's broken, but I think some coach will think he can actually fix him. And for me, a quarterback that has all the tools, but the coaching wasn't there at Penn State. You had Bill O'Brien there for a year, had a great year. But after that, James Franklin came in and kind of changed some things. His O-line wasn't all that great. He kind of threw his team under the bus. A lot of teams don't like that. But I think Christian Hackenberg could be one of those boomer busts. He kind of says, I'll show you, but only time will tell.
All right, well, speaking of quarterbacks, because you mentioned Paxton Lynch, tell me about this class. It seems like, these guys have ran up the draft boards pretty fast, and we have the number 1 and number 2 picks. Basically, they're going to be quarterbacks that I didn't really see as being that highly touted in their college career. So what's up with this quarterback class?
Jared Goff, the first quarterback, if he is drafted the number 1 overall, he'll be the first number 1 overall quarterback with a losing record since 1967, drafted number 1. Not good at all, especially when if I remember correctly, it was 14-27 as a college quarterback. A lot of that has to do with the team he was on, really having to start out as a freshman on a bad team. But that team never really got better. They got better in win total, but not him personally. I think he kind of limited the picks, but the arm strength never seemed to. The ball doesn't jump off his arm. I don't like his mobility in the pocket. His decision making has a lot to be desired, and he didn't win anything. For me, in college, your quarterback changes everything. Carson Wentz, a winner. 5 championships in his 5 years there, came back after a hand injury, led his team to a victory. Carson Wentz is better suited for the NFL, but the competition's a little bit suspect. You have Paxton Lynch, again, lower level of competition, bigger guy, boomer bust, really big guy with a big arm, reminds you of Joe Flacco. Jeff Driscoll, former Florida quarterback, didn't fit in the offense, went to Louisiana Tech. He's more of a late round backup type. Brandon Allen, a backup type. This class has all of 2011 written on it, guys that get pushed up a lot, a la Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, that class, where guys get pushed up into the top 10, top 12. They shouldn't be there.
And then be deep on somebody's bench 2 years later.
Exactly. The problem also with this draft is it may say a little bit about 2017 and 2018 with guys like Brad Kaya in 2017 and Josh Rosen from UCLA in 2018. There's not a lot of quarterback depth, so maybe these teams who have coaching staffs or front offices who are on a short leash, they're not worried about 2017 and 2018. They're worried about right now and their jobs right now, a.k.a. Jeff Fisher, who shouldn't be a head coach at this point.
Damn, shots fired.
All right, so I know the festivities are about to get started, so I know you got to get out of here. But tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, and we'll wrap again next week to talk some post-draft analysis.
Well, you guys can definitely check me out on Twitter. I'll be all over this whole draft situation for all 3 days. Day 3 is my day. Day 1 and 2. That's the Sports Center highlight. But day 3
it's the easy day. Scouts. Football scouts, their day don't start until round 3 at least.
Exactly. Those free agent phone calls when you just say, no, we're not going to draft you in the 6th and 7th round. We'll wait till you're an undrafted free agent and we'll let you pick your team. Those are where teams are built on the back end. But I'll be watching all 3 days of the draft. You can catch me on Twitter, @PurdueSports. You can also check me out, collegefootball.about.com. I will be actually dropping a college football draft where we're drafting a college team. So check that out. That'll be up before the weekend is over with, and that's going to be something interesting because you don't really. How would I build my college team? I'm not saying how any other coach would build their team, but it's with the way college teams are built. 3-4-4-3 spread pro style. There's a lot of different things that go into it. So check that out, and you always can catch me here in the War Room, man.
No doubt. Fred, me and B. Austin actually just landed. We just touched down this morning, came back from Chicago. So we talked to a couple of draft prospects. You know, when we're not on the air, I'm going to run a couple of names by you, see if you know anything about them. So I'll holler at you about that, and we'll talk to you next week in the War Room.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right, no doubt.
No doubt.
All right, Fred Perdue, everybody, your draft expert. He will be back next week for post-draft analysis to see if, you know, some of the things that he thought and said tonight came to fruition.
We'll be here to
definitely. Like I was just telling him, you know, B. Austin and I, you know, we were representing War Room Sports at a sports media shindig, pre-draft shindig in Chicago. Shout out to the young homie from Slippery Rock. Played safety at Slippery Rock. Yo, B, I think the young dude really had a good head on his shoulders because he, like, has a plan B. Like, if this football thing doesn't work out, you know, he definitely has a plan B. And that's what I liked about the whole conversation we had with him.
He certainly went there and to Slippery Rock, that is, and took his education seriously. We were at the Blogs with Balls 7 conference. Salute to Don Povia and all of those guys. Kyle Bunch.
And Rafiq Cromwell is who I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I didn't even say his name. Shout out to Rafiq Cromwell.
Did a lot on special teams. Was a heart and soul guy, and he's still pursuing that professional dream. So
good luck to you, young brother.
Yeah, he definitely got a backup plan. I could definitely see him running for office about 20 years from now. Definitely,
Lynn Swan.
Yeah.
Lynn Swan. You're from the Pittsburgh area too.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up. What else happened? Hey, Jim.
Yes, sir.
That whole, because you're up there with your finger on the pulse in Philly. I know your man Bradford is up there asking out now because of this whole situation.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got a lot of money guaranteed to you, good brother. I would sit back and shut my mouth.
My question is this: where does he get the leverage? Where does he get? Like, if you sign a contract that you sign, 2-year contract, and it's really just 1 year friendly, and a lot of money for 1 year, might I add, why did you think that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to do anything else but try to find their quarterback of the future? Like, his agent is coming out and saying, like, he doesn't see himself as a stopgap kind of guy, but you signed a stopgap kind of deal. So what did you expect for them to do? I don't get it. I don't get his position.
Money. He saw that guaranteed money. Plus, I think it may be like, because I know that they were talking to a couple teams about moving him, one being my Broncos.
Right.
Right. So I think that he must see other opportunities on the table and, like, let me get out of here while they rebuild.
See, but I think Jim, I think the Eagles want more for him than anybody's going to be willing to offer. So I think just to appease him, I think they, reached out to some teams to see who was interested, some teams that are in need of quarterbacks. But, like, who's going to offer you any more than, like, a fourth for Sam Bradford right now?
Yo, my man,
he's as competitive, like his. Yeah, but his agent is sitting here saying how competitive he is, and that's the reason he's doing this. That's the part I don't get. If you have the chance to hold off a rookie, look, Carson Wentz is not that highly touted. It's not a situation whereas if you're playing lights out, if you have that in you, that you can't hold this rookie off for a few years. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers, I mean, Bradford's not Brett Favre by any stretch, but, Aaron Rodgers, as good as he is now, had a quarterback hold him off for several years before he got to step into the limelight. This is Carson Wentz. Like, if you're that competitive, take this year, see if you can ball out and see how long you can hold this rookie off. And at worst, you play well and you up your trade value for next year, and you can get out. You can get what you want. Just play this year.
I think he just doesn't want to be here at this point. Like, it may be a situation where him and the new coach just don't see eye to eye. I think it's more to this story. I mean, it has to be because you're about to make over 20 M's.
I don't think it's more, man. I think his feelings just hurt. But I just don't understand his angle. I don't understand why.
Yeah, but with all those
like you signed a deal that says you're a stopgap. This is short term.
So that's the case. I don't know if it's just about feelings. Like, I don't know. And the funny thing is, I mean, you see quarterbacks these days just acting like they're, what's my man Ryan Fitzpatrick from the Jets was like, yo,
he's talking about retiring.
Yo, like,
what's wrong with him?
And the funny thing about it is the quarterback position is so important, and there's so many bad quarterbacks that guys like a Ryan Fitzpatrick and a Sam Bradford.
Demand, they're setting the market.
Yo, they demanded with a. That's how bad it is.
The Jets offered Fitzpatrick like $8 million a year. He's saying he wants twice that much. And he's saying he'd rather retire than take this offer. Yo, you are Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, what are you talking about?
It's kind of like we are in the antithesis of the point guard era in the NBA. In the NBA, it's all about the lead guard. In the NFL, the quarterback position is poo-poo.
Which we will be talking about next week.
Yeah, good segue, right? It's poo-poo. So these mediocre guys are commanding top dollar, and they're using these deals, and they can say, well, look at my man. Look at what he got. Look at what he got.
It's really unfair. It's my team. My quarterback.
Quarterback position, man.
Yeah, Bradford is tripping. I don't know what this is about. I think he will eventually come around to his senses. He's going to play football in Philadelphia. But my question would be, what is he doing to that locker room? What's the respect factor of the players that he has to lead into battle? He's already not really known as a vocal, rah-rah leader type of guy. He's distancing himself from the organization and his teammates.
Because if they don't do this, like, you don't have a choice. Like, you don't have to play. But look, it's time for us to roll.
Are y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.
He's trying to go somewhere. He's trying to go somewhere that's tax friendly because he got to build a casino that he don't have to pay no tax revenue on. But that's either here nor there. Some of y'all will get that. Some of y'all won't.
I ain't gonna say it no more.
Anyway, thank you, good folks, for joining us again in the War Room. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, those on Facebook or Twitter who chimed in. We definitely appreciate it. Special thanks to Coach Jamal Slayton and Fred Perdue for joining us as well this past week. Tune in next week live right here on demand on the WRS Podcast Network. We're checking on the NBA playoffs and talking in depth about the current era of NBA point guards. Hopefully, we won't have 3 more injured point guards in the playoffs when we do so. So until then, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts. Everything can be found at warroomsports.com. Also, make sure you pick up my book at sportsthebook.com or just pick it up at warroomsports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance, and we'll see you chumps on top.
Jimmy, know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. If not, dial 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push 1 to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Jack Beck, the Austin. I'm Jack. Up here coming on the beat.
War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Are y'all finished or y'all done? I ain't got no more talking.